Goodbye, JJ.
The show starts and the dog gets off off the bed. Perfect timing. Gusty winds will be making their way up the eastern seaboard tomorrow and in the Carolinas and in Virginia and points north of there later Wednesday night and Thursday as Hurricane Erin moves north and then eventually moves northeast. We'll cover all the gory details. I'm just being facetious here. Tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. Support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast by doing your shopping on Amazon using our referral link that's pinned to the top of the chat board or on the descriptor to this podcast. It's very simple. Just search for your stuff and shop, and Amazon throws us a little coin for sending you there. Doesn't cost you a penny out of your pocket. And it also is a great way because we're able to keep the live portion of the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast without commercial interruption. And I know most of you like that. So consider supporting us by doing your Amazon shopping via our referral link. And if you need a weather station, Tempest by WeatherFlow is a great one. Get the revolutionary Tempest weather system. Join the fastest growing observing weather network on the planet, of which I am a part of. The link for this is on the descriptor to this podcast, which you can find on YouTube underneath the title. Use the coupon code summer 2025 because a magical thing happens when you do. You get a magical thing happens when you do. You get
I was waiting for that. 10% off. Joe?
Wonderful.
Joe?
Isn't it hilarious? I've been sitting here since 7:30. Okay. The dog
Yes.
was on the bed. I turned the computer so that you can get the dog on the shot. Okay. Soon as I literally, as soon as I hit the start button, he jumped off the bed. He knows. He just
There you
knows.
go.
He figures if he's not going to get paid to be on the air, he's not going to be in the camera shot. All right, so Erin got sheared apart last night, even though yesterday evening on the satellite it looked like some colder cloud tops were developing. But then when I was looking at the loops this morning, all of a sudden all this dry air got in there, and there was some wind shear that just basically tore apart the northwest quadrant. However, I'm noticing this evening again, it's coming. It has come back on the satellite. Now let's see what the reconnaissance aircraft finds, because it's one's getting there right now. So we'll see if the pressures drop. But nonetheless, it remains a Category 2/Category 3-ish hurricane that is going to do what we've been saying, which is geographically, it's going to grow larger and cover a lot of square miles in the Western Atlantic, and it's going to produce gales well away from the center, and that includes the Outer Banks of North Carolina. And now we've been mentioning that there could be gusty winds as far north as southern and southeastern New England.
Well, it'll be something to watch for most along the Atlantic seaboard, Joe, and even up here in the tri-state area in the lower Hudson Valley. I think on Thursday we're going to see some gusty northeasterly winds to over 25 and 30 miles per hour. We're probably also going to be seeing some tidal flooding along the Jersey coast and also the south shore of Long Island, especially so Thursday night and Friday with the two high tide cycles. And there may even be a touch of beach erosion as well. So even though the storm at its closest on Thursday evening around 7, 8 o'clock at night will get no closer than 400 statute miles southeast of the New York City area. At that distance, you figure, well, we have no problems. That far, what could a storm possibly do? It can do quite a bit. We're looking again at the potential for rough seas, heavy swells, serious undertow. If you had any thoughts about going to the beach these next several days, I saw a report on one of the local channels that said from Long Island, Joe, and they said, well, we're hoping that things will get back to normal by Friday or Saturday. I frankly don't think they're going to get back to normal until maybe Sunday or Monday.
I
I think
agree.
Friday and Saturday. I mean, that word is still going to be very churned up. So,
Right. Well, the churning started already uh, a day or two ago, and it's only going to accelerate from here. I know the New York City closed their beaches today to swimmers. I don't know if any of the Long Island beaches did, or if any of the Jersey Shore beaches did. I also noticed from the Mount Holly forecast, because they have a coastal flood watch up, they are indicating areas of minor to moderate coastal flooding, putting Atlantic City for one in an area where there could be some moderate coastal flooding. I didn't see anything yet from the New York office. I know they're talking about it. I didn't notice whether they put up any coastal flood watches yet.
well, they might want to do that just to be on the safe side. I mean, that's just one person's opinion because it is a very. I understand that it has dropped from a Cat 5 down to a 2, but still a Category 2 storm at the close proximity that this system is going to come relative to the mainland is still a very potent and very dangerous system to deal with. So why not? What is it going to do if they did put up at the very least a watch for possible coastal flooding?
I'm looking at this is from Mount Holly, and they're talking they're talking um, in Lewes, Delaware. Okay, that's how you say it, right? Lewes?
Is it Lowe's or Lowe's?
I
No,
forget.
Lowe's is a
So
hardware store.
they're expecting moderate coastal flooding at the evening high tide on Thursday, and also, all right, that's for Delaware. Hold on a second. I wanted to see if I can. They already have coastal flood advisories up around for the southern New Jersey counties, southernmost counties, um, and also for two the two of the three counties in Delaware, also in the counties in Chesapeake Bay between Baltimore and Washington D.C. and even further south than that, and also for the Potomac River. This certainly is going to have impact. And I just want to look a little bit further south than that, down in Virginia, and see what they're doing there. In Virginia, we've got coastal flood advisories up for southeastern Virginia, and also the tropical storm warnings have been extended northward, up through the Delmarva Peninsula to um, actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, on the Delmarva Peninsula to Chickateague, Virginia, not quite to the Delaware state line. It's the southernmost part of the Delmarva Peninsula. AAYT on the chat board says it's pronounced Lewis. That's what he says. Okay, I take your word for it. It's Lewis. Uh, Unless for some reason in my mind I have lose in there, but again I could be wrong. But nonetheless, um, there are going to be some gusts at the coast, probably to gale force. I don't think that's a stretch.
No, I think if you're right, if you're like in Freeport, for example, or anywhere along the south coast of Long Island, or right along the immediate New Jersey coastline, Tom's River, Seaside Heights, you will see some strong wind gusts here during the day on Thursday and into Thursday night.
Yeah, and we've had an onshore flow here for the last 2 days, so all this water is going to start to pile up. As each subsequent tide goes out, less water is going to go out. So by the time we get to Thursday, which is the new moon day,
Let's see. I think it's Friday.
Friday, okay. So the peak tide may not be until Saturday.
Right.
Okay, so
And still, I mean,
I mean,
the
it's still
water
going to
just.
be high. I mean, no
Oh yeah,
question, it's going to be high.
no question about that. You're absolutely right. I think if anybody's thinking about, oh, well, the hurricane's going to pass on Thursday night. It should be much better out there on Saturday and Sunday. Not quite. I think we're still going to have rough seas to contend with. Certainly Friday, quite possibly Saturday. It may not be until Sunday or even the beginning of next week that the waters will finally calm down significantly.
All right,
Now, William Jersey Shores asking about what are gale force winds? 34 knots, 39 miles per hour or more.
welcome tonight to everybody on the chat board. Welcome to those of you lurking in the background on tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. You can find us here Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m. and the occasional Friday and Saturday when there's a big storm around. By Friday, all of this will be over with, as far as the general weather is concerned. So we are not going to be adding extra shows. But if you subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn your notifications on so you don't miss us, if we do add extra shows, you'll know about it. And of course, while the show is going on, if we decide that we're going to need to change the schedule, we certainly will let you know about it. And of course, if you do like the show, you could show that you like the show by hitting the like button, which is a very easy thing to do. All right,
Yes.
let's go to the loop. I'm going to go to I've got the enhanced satellite loop. And the one thing that I've noticed this evening is that we've seen, when you look at this loop and you see it from the start, you see all that white area. That was dry air that got in there. Plus, you had some northwest shear going on. But during the afternoon and evening hours, the storm has gone from being asymmetric to much more symmetric, much more circular. And I'm guessing that when we get to the reports from the plane, we're probably going to see that the pressure's dropped a little bit. That's my guess, Joe. And we're still seeing, a north-northwest motion. There's still a bit of a westerly component in here. It will eventually turn to the north, and it'll probably do so before it gets to 75 degrees west. And we're going to start to see weather conditions deteriorating on the outer banks of North Carolina during Wednesday.
And the storm, again, is widening as the system continues to move around. Somebody on the chat board said it seems to be slowing down. But again, when storms come up along the path that Erin is taking, as it curves to the northwest and then to the north and northeast, you get that slowing effect, especially as it's making that turn or curve to the north and northeast, as we will see during the coming next 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, being that it's a fairly large system, it takes a lot for it to make the turn. There's a lot of energy being expended here in the atmosphere to turn something like this toward a different direction, and then eventually to turn it up to the northeast. So yeah, and we're also coming into the weakness in the ridge, so the flow is weaker. So indeed, it is. It has slowed down certainly from where it was yesterday. It's moving at around 9 or 10 miles an hour, and we'll probably once it makes the turn, eventually we'll start to see it as it gets high, as it starts to gain latitude and comes into contact with the strong westerlies that are there near and north of 35 degrees north. That's when you're going to start to see this thing accelerate out to the northeast. And it's also, as it gains latitude, it's gaining tropical characteristics that you normally see in non-tropical systems. That's not to say that this thing is becoming post-tropical, almost instantly, but the fact that it's growing and it's spreading out is something that you usually see when these storms gain latitude.
And you can see how well defined. Joe mentioned how it looked rather irregular a little while ago, last night, and especially this morning. But it looks like it's becoming more concentric, if you will, Joe.
Yes.
More circular, and looks like you may be right. I think it may be trying to put itself back together again, and may even strengthen a little bit now as it moves northward out of a somewhat unfavorable atmospheric environment.
I could very well do that. All right, I've got the 5 p.m. advisory. The 8 o'clock is not out yet. At 5 p.m., 26.6, 72.7. Top winds at 105, moving north-northwest at 10. The heading is 330 degrees, I believe. And you see the forecast gradual turn to the north by tomorrow morning, and then from there, a turn to the north-northeast and eventually northeast. We do see it passing. I think the closest it gets to Cape Hatteras will probably be 150 or 175 miles to the southeast. And as you pointed out, about 400 miles southeast of the Jersey coast or southeast of Long Island, Thursday night into Friday morning. The blue area is the tropical storm warnings that are up from Cape Lookout to Duck, North Carolina. Tropical storm watches have been extended further north into the southern portion of the Delmarva Peninsula. And Bermuda, even though the center is going to pass well to the north and west of Bermuda, they're going to get some wind there for sure. And they have tropical storm watches up for Bermuda. And on the latest guidance, this is the 18Z Hurricane Track Model guidance. Again, very clustered together, very tightly. I guess it gets almost to 70, gets to say maybe 73.5 to 74 degrees west. Doesn't quite make it to 75, and then makes the turn to the right and runs up to about 36 and 70, and then continues on its merry way northeast or east-northeast out into the open waters of the Atlantic, passing well south of Nova Scotia, and the center passing well south of Newfoundland, although again, at this point, this thing is going to be so large that, and as it gains latitude, the rain starts to shift to the northwest side, and some of that rain might get into, say, eastern Newfoundland and before it pulls away and goes bye-bye. And the intensity guidance, there are a number of models that are re-strengthening it back to a Category 3, and they kind of hold it there until 72 hours, which would be, let's see, today is what? Tuesday? So that would be Friday when it's well out to the east. Although more models have it as a strong Cat 2, but let's combine the strong Cat 2s with the Cat 3s, and that's kind of where most of the models are in terms of intensity. And then as it gains more latitude, it starts to weaken in terms of the stronger winds, although it will be a very strong Atlantic cyclone. And I do have, this is the 12Z European, which is as good as any of the models to look at right now since we're close up. It finally corrected for the pressure, which was way too low. I mean, it had these ridiculously low pressure numbers with this, 919. Now it's got it in the 940s. Maybe it gets there, maybe it doesn't. But you'd see it does bring rain to eastern North Carolina. Now, we should make the distinction. We have a weather front that's approaching tomorrow. And there will be some rain with this and some heavier downpours developing during the day Wednesday and Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. This is not directly associated with the hurricane, but that front or trough, whatever, it's more of a trough, upper trough than anything else. We still need to just keep our eyes on this, that we don't wind up with something where the rainfall gets enhanced. Some of the models have been trying to show areas of heavy rain over parts of central New Jersey, New York City, and Long Island. The Europeans kind of backed away to some extent on this, although it does have some areas of heavy rain offshore and also up in northern Connecticut. The model can put it wherever it wants. We're just going to have to wait to see what the radars tell us when we get to this time tomorrow night, as far as whether there's going to be some enhanced rainfall out of this. But I certainly think there could probably be anywhere from a half to 3/4 of an inch for most folks out of this before it's all said and done. And we'll just throw in that caveat that if it winds up getting enhanced by the tropical environment that's developing along the eastern seaboard, that amounts could be double that.
Well, there's actually on the maps this evening, the surface maps, that there is actually a storm system that's centered near Detroit, and the weather front extending out from it drops all the way down into the Central Plain states. And that storm, that Detroit storm, by tomorrow morning is not too far from Detroit still. It's out over Lake Erie. And then by the time we get to tomorrow night, the storm is now moving into Pennsylvania, and it seems that between tomorrow night and Thursday morning, quite possibly the effects of Erin coming northward actually ends up absorbing what's left of that surface low pressure system into the system. Almost kind of reminds me of Hurricane Grace from the no-name storm of 1991. Any case, that storm that's now near Detroit will no longer be by the time we get to late tomorrow night and early on Thursday morning. But the moisture associated with it, along with the associated frontal line, will be moving through New York State and much of the Northeast. And so we will be looking at tomorrow, unlike today, which turned out to be a beautiful day outside for much of the time. Tomorrow, a lot of clouds and precipitation, which may be spotty and light in the morning. I think, Joe, that it'll pick up during the afternoon and carry over into at least the first part of tomorrow night. Then things will start to diminish some after midnight tomorrow night. And then on Thursday, the big question is, how quickly does the precip depart? We may still have spotty showers around Thursday morning, and then hopefully it'll be dry for the rest of the day. But if you're hoping for a sunny day on Thursday, it looks like right now it's going to be quite cloudy, along with the fact that we're going to have, again, thanks to Erin, a rather gusty northeasterly wind. And because of all the clouds and that northeast wind, temps on Thursday not likely to get out of the 60s. And with the winds blowing, it may actually feel at times like it's in the 50s. Very un-August-like.
Yes. This is the European forecast rainfall amounts, and there's a stripe of 2 to 4 inches that lies just off the south shore of Long Island out to about Nantucket and Hyannis, and not quite to Cape Cod, but to the south of Cape Cod. So this is something where the model actually had it over Long Island and central New Jersey on a bunch of runs and the run overnight, and it just sort of backed away a little bit from it today. And I was looking at the 3 kilometer NAM, which has some 1.5 inch plus amounts in North Jersey. And then it's got this stripe that runs from Lake Ontario across way to the north, up in upstate New York into Massachusetts. I'm not going to say no because, again, a lot really is going to depend on how this all sets up tomorrow. So it's just basically a nowcast event. And you'll notice where the real heavy rain from the hurricane is. It's way out offshore. And the European has 1/2 inch plus amounts in over the Outer Banks and just kind of touching the mainland of eastern North Carolina. So the rain is not the deal here. It's really about coastal flooding. It's really about the gusty winds. And we also have, this is the European, starting at 2 a.m. Thursday. We're looking at 20 to 30 mile an hour wind gusts in most places. But then as we go to 8 a.m., and we're starting to see the winds pick up a little bit more at the coast, 33 at Long Branch, 31 at Toms River. And then by 2 p.m., so sometime between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. Thursday, we could see some gusts over 50 miles an hour. If you look at that area on the Jersey coast, on the central New Jersey coast, in and around east and south of Toms River, in Barnegat Bay and point southward. So a 46 mile an hour wind gust at Toms River, 33 at Philadelphia, 34 at Trenton, Bridgewater 33, Poughkeepsie 26, 29 at Middletown, 34 at Yonkers, Brentwood at 39, some higher amounts in the 45 to 50 mile an hour range in the eastern half of Suffolk County on Long Island. And this is at 8 p.m., still gusting between 35 and 45 along the coast, and it'll still be pretty breezy overnight. And even on Friday, Joe, the winds are still running, gusting at 25 to 30 miles an hour.
And do you think, Joe, late tomorrow evening, I know we haven't looked at it yet. I'm sure you'll show it in just a moment or two, the SPC, or not the the SPC map, convective outlook for tomorrow. I think they have us in general thunderstorm activity, barely. But aside from maybe a rumble of thunder, I really don't think that the situation or the setup is conducive for mentioning any kind of thundery or convective weather tomorrow. Rain
Yeah,
and showers.
I agree with you on that.
Well, that's nice.
No, well, you've got an onshore flow. I mean, it's a marine flow that's coming in. It's not like you're going up into the mid and upper 80s tomorrow ahead of this front. I mean, you're going to be in a marine like air mass. So yeah, I would probably, are there going to be some heavy downpours in there? Probably. Are there going to be thunderstorms? I don't certainly not enough. I don't think there's going to be a risk for severe weather. I think it's if there if there is a thunderstorm or two that winds up getting into the mix, it's really going to be it's going to be the rain that's going to be coming out of it more than anything else. But
Right.
I'm not overly concerned about it. I'm just looking at some of the winds here in eastern North Carolina and on the Outer Banks. I mean, the Outer Banks area, they're in the 50 to 60 mile an hour gusts here Thursday morning. So the winds are going to be picking up during. Let me just back this up. They really start picking up during later in the afternoon on for tomorrow, and then they really pick up Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and even at Thursday afternoon, you got this yellow area, which is 60 to 65 mile an hour wind gusts on the Outer Banks. Virginia Beach, 47. I wish they had a point that they could have put out here. Cape Hatteras might have been a nice addition there. But Virginia Beach at 47 miles per hour. Jacksonville, North Carolina, and Wilmington, which are both, Wilmington is on the coast. Jacksonville, not barely inland of the coast, 33 and 35 mile per hour wind gusts, respectively. And then at 8 p.m., still blowing away, even up to the Delmarva Peninsula, where you're looking at gusts of 40 to 50 miles an hour along the coastal areas. And it's not until we get to the daytime on Friday where we start to see the winds generally relax. So I'm just going to go back here and let's get the 8 o'clock advisory, Joe. If you could look up to see what the pressure is. I don't think they changed much. And the heading 27.3 north, 72.7 west is the new position. Maximum wind still holding at 105, moving north-northwest at 10. And I'm going to see if we've got a recon fix yet.
The 8 o'clock suggests the minimum central pressure at 959.
Okay, so they're kind of holding it. I guess they're just waiting for the plane to get there. And they haven't, the plane hasn't, I mean, if it's there, at the center, the graphic's not showing it yet. It's pretty close. So we might have it by the time we get to the show, the end of the show, we might not. Just showing you some of the winds that are being reported here with 65 to 75 knot winds. But again, with respect to where it is, they don't have any pressure readings. So I don't know exactly where the plane is with respect to the center. Sometimes I'm just checking to see on here. Um, Plane is at see the plane position as of 8:02 is at 2797 and 73.45. So it's still a good 60 miles more than that. What it's a 27.2, did I say?
Well,
27.3. 27.3,
yeah.
and the plane is at 27.9. So it's about 40 or so miles north of where the Hurricane Center has the actual center right now. So we'll check this. We'll check back at this before the show is over and figure out what's going on. Okay, the Storm Prediction Center, as Joe mentioned, tonight we've got marginal risk from Kansas and Oklahoma across Arkansas and southern Missouri and northeast into Ohio. No risk in the northeast or mid-Atlantic states. General thunderstorms, and I participated in one of those general thunderstorms here today. We got one big clap of thunder that shook the house. When we get thunderstorms around here, especially with my elevation, if the cell is right on top of me, it might as well be an earthquake. Now here's tomorrow. So this is tomorrow into Thursday morning. They pushed the general thunderstorm line, which earlier today cut off right at New York City. Now they've pushed it uh, up into upstate New York. I mean, north of I-90, southern Vermont, western half of Mass, and most of Connecticut and all of Long Island. So there's that. And we have a small area of marginal risk, by the way, in northwest North Dakota and northeastern Montana. And of course, by the time we get to Friday, it's dry from Maine to Jersey. General thunderstorms further south from Maryland down to Florida and west back to Texas, with a marginal risk in the eastern Dakotas and into Minnesota. The rainfall amounts from WPC. See, now they're looking at the 3 kilometer NAM, and Joe, that they got the max area. They got a 2.5 inch max area with this system that's coming through tomorrow in upstate New York and into Massachusetts, and extending down into the Catskills and kind of touching northwest New Jersey. Lesser amounts, but every bit of 3/4 of an inch to maybe an inch from central New Jersey to Long Island and into southeastern New England. And of course, you can see on the far right where the heavy stuff with the hurricane is it's completely separate, and it's well out to the east.
And this is interesting because just a few days ago, the debate was, will we get a shower on Wednesday? Do you think we might get a little wet, or might we stay dry all the way until the end of next weekend? And now all of a sudden, we have a significant rainy period to go through tomorrow and into tomorrow evening.
That trough is so important because that if it weren't for that, if it weren't for that shortwave, we'd be having a totally different conversation here tonight.
It's nice to consider that we're in the situation we're in now, and not the situation that you were suggesting a few moments ago.
Uh, we do have a super chat hit tonight, and hold on, sorry about that. Uh,
From Andrew Del Virginia.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew, for hitting the tip jar. And he wants to know how much coastal flooding in Tom's River. We always get pretty high water from a full/new moon or even a couple of days of onshore flow. Well, this time around, you got both. Um, I'm looking at, just give me a moment here to check to see. I saw earlier today that they had moderate coastal flooding forecast for Thursday evening high tides at Atlantic City. I'm trying to see if Mount Holly, a coastal flood watch, right? This will help. All right, so for Sandy Hook, minor coastal flooding at the high tide. That's north of you, clearly. I get that. Um, so minor coastal flooding forecast for tomorrow's evening high tide, and moderate coastal flooding for the Thursday evening high tide. For Manasquan, it's moderate for the evening high tide on Thursday and minor for the morning high tide on Friday. And then it jumps to Atlantic City. So I would say they're forecasting moderate also for Atlantic City, moderate for here Barnegat Bay and Barnegat Light. So this will help you. So minor coastal flooding at the at the high tide you just had at 5 p.m. The next three high tides, they're not indicating any coastal flooding. However, the Thursday evening, 7 p.m. high tide is indicated to be moderate. A total tide of the departure from normal will be almost 2 feet. And this is what I'm not understanding, though. They've got a departure of 1.27. I'm sorry, a total tide of 4.6. Um, so it's total tide being low water 4.6, total tide above being high water at 2.1, which is 1.7 above normal, and moderate coastal flooding, and that's for 7 p.m. on Thursday. 7 a.m. on Friday, they've got 4.4. Oh, okay, so I see why. Now I understand. So it's a little lower on that one for Friday morning. 4.4, 1.9 uh, above mean high water, and minor coastal flooding. So I would just say certainly the 7 p.m. high tide for Thursday is going to be your critical high tide. And that's according to NOAA, according to the Weather Service. So I hope that helps you out.
Well, of course, that'll be when the storm will be closest to the immediate tri-state metropolitan area. Again, about 400 miles south and east of New York, at about 7 or 8 o'clock on Thursday evening.
I'm sorry, Joe. Could you just say that again?
I said the time of the time that you're mentioning, 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening on Thursday, will be the time when the storm will be closest to the immediate tri-state New York City area, about 400
Right,
miles south and east.
right. Yeah, and yeah, and that makes total sense. Okay. Here's the here's the full U.S. satellite tonight, and I mean, look how big in terms of geography that Erin has become. I mean, the clouds are already, well to the north and west. And of course, it goes to the enhancement once the sun sets. But you're definitely seeing that, it looks like it's a nice ball of convection. I'm going to just put the lightning flashes on this. So maybe we could see, if it picks up on any thunderstorm activity going on. Um, and it might not show lightning, but sometimes it does. But here we go. And yeah, again, the canopy here is really pushed up pretty far to the north.
There's no movement though.
No, I know. I'm waiting. It's loading. I think it's just loading the frames up.
Oh, okay.
So this picture is for the first frame is from 4 o'clock this afternoon, and for some reason it's not. Oh, here we go. Now it's moving. All right. There's missing frames here, Joe. That's why. So I'm just going to go back to the visible. And we'll just leave it there. But yeah, there you have it. I mean, it's north northwest. I mean, it might be a little more closer to due north soon, but there's still a little bit of westerly component. And you can also see the clouds up in upstate New York and back through Ohio with some thunderstorms developing there, down into southern Illinois and across Missouri and Arkansas with that first system. And the radar tonight is actually pretty busy in upstate New York. From Syracuse west, there's some areas of moderate rain, and also in northern New York. And then you've got these thunderstorms in Ohio, right near Cleveland, and then there's a break, and then they pop up again in a line, kind of a curved line there from southern Indiana to southern Illinois, and then a couple of complexes here in southeast Missouri and into northeast Arkansas with a few severe thunderstorm warnings there. Another area of storms, by the way, with some severe weather in north central Oklahoma into south central Kansas. You've got patches of thunderstorms in Louisiana and southern Louisiana, across I-10 and along either side of I-10 in Texas, going across the state and back over into New Mexico. So here's what the European is doing. I'm going to widen this out so we can see the whole U.S. Because you got this, you got higher pressures up to the north in Labrador and Atlantic Canada, so that's helping to tighten up the gradient. Erin goes out Friday to the northeast, and being that it's out there, Joe, certainly you're going to have waves into Saturday. And you're right, you're probably going to have to wait till Sunday for things to come down. There's another weather front that's approaching for Sunday with maybe some late day thunderstorms, or if not during late in the day, Sunday night as the front goes by. And then we've got a fairly cool, dry air mass that's going to be covering much of the east through a good part of next week, which is kind of interesting. And
Well,
another one that follows for the beginning of the Labor Day holiday weekend. Although it does have some kind of low that it forms off the southeast coast and tries to run up the coast over the Labor Day weekend, but we'll see if that's real or not.
we'll see.
All right, you
Now,
ready to do some?
I
I'm
was just going
sorry.
to ask you if you. Last night I had them, so I think tonight is your turn.
I got Thriller
Yeah.
Jeopardy tonight,
Okay.
and we're going to do tonight is the retired hurricanes beginning with the letter I, and the letter I is the more storm retired names start with the letter I than any other letter. Did you know
Really?
that?
And that, you did not too, not too many common names with that start off with I. So that's interesting.
Well, they got a bunch of them here. There's 13 of them.
Oh,
So let's see what the chat board has. Um, Inez, yes.
yeah.
Ian or Ian, yes. Irma, yes. Isabel, yes. Isidore, yes.
Is it a door?
Isaias, no. Isidore, yes.
Yeah.
Isidore, yes.
Yeah.
Ivan, Maggie P. Ivan, yes.
Roger,
Um,
Roger.
right, exactly. Hi, Ivan. If you're watching the show, I know Ivan watches the show almost continuously. He binge watches from 2018. Ingrid, yes. Irene, yes. Boy, everybody's getting good. Bobby Livingsworth, Ike, yes. Rich Rothmansky, Igor, yes. Steve Lapointe, Ike, yes. Let me see if we got them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh, 5. Okay. 6. 1, 2. Looks like we have not gotten that's 10 out of the 13. Rich Rothmansky makes it 11 out of 13 with Iris. Coin Pig says the same. Kenny Salerno and I think a couple of other people mentioned Ingrid. That's 12, which leaves Joe one more. One more. But the
Well,
chat board did good tonight. They very quickly got 11 out of the 12. But there's one more. And Anthony gets it, Joe. Anthony gets it. I own.
I own?
I own. Like I own a car. I own a
Oh, yeah.
house.
Yeah.
So
Well, I own that. That sounds like
that
one that
goes way,
dated back
that's
to
way back.
1950. Yeah, it sounds like a name that you'd see in the 50s.
Yeah, that's no, I'm sure that it was in the 50s. Well, I'm just
Sounds like a character. Sounds like a character from the TV show December Bride.
right. Yes. So of all these names, let's see. 1, 2. I don't know anybody named Igor or Igor, if you're a young Frankenstein fan. Um, I years ago I knew somebody named Inez.
Well, my
Ingrid,
grandmother's name was Inez, so
yes, there you go. Ingrid, I went to high school with someone named Ingrid. Ingrid Cyprian was her name. Irene, Iris. I don't know if I
Ike,
knew
of
it.
course. Ike, of course, is short for Eisenhower. Although I don't see how they got that, but
What's short for Eisenhower?
no, that's what they used to call Eisenhower, Ike, right?
Oh, Ike. Yes, Ike. Yes. Um, I don't think I knew anybody named Iris. Irma, yes. Isabel, yes. Isidore. I know Saint Isidore, but I don't know if I've ever met anybody named Isidore. And of course, Joe, we both knew somebody named Ivan. Or in some
Yes.
languages, it would be Ivan
Yeah.
in Spanish. So there you go.
The only
All
time
right.
I hear the only time I hear from Ivan is on my birthday. He sends me a greeting via messenger.
Yes, I
So
always get a happy birthday from Ivan.
yeah.
Absolutely. Actually, I'm going to send him a message right now saying that we're talking about you on the show tonight. Let's let me put this in. I mean, we're going to sign off soon, but there he is, the great Raguse. The chairman, Scott Briller, thanks for hitting the tip jar. He says, I once dated a girl I own. The storm lasted longer than our relationship. Uh, okay, I'm going to just tell him we're talking about him on the show.
Hello?
I'm here.
Oh,
I'm typing. Okay.
oh, okay.
Anyhow. Um, all right. So anyway, I guess we're done.
Well, it's 8:21 if you're looking on your clock, unless you're watching a replay here. And so tomorrow night we'll have more to say about
Erin.
this thing,
Yes, Erin.
Erin,
Okay.
which
All
happened to be
right.
one of the daughters on the Waltons was
Yeah,
named Erin.
that's
So
right.
yeah,
Okay. WCBS News Time, David Scott, is 8:21. So rather than do traffic and weather together, we are going to say goodnight together, and we're going to let you know that we will be here tomorrow night at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. So have a great night and a great day tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow night.
have a good night, folks.
Bye bye.